Vice President Sara Duterte appears before prosecutors from the Department of Justice and submits her response to the case filed by the National Bureau of Investigation regarding the threat to the lives of President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Duterte is facing a complaint for inciting to sedition and grave threats after saying during a live-stream press conference that she had already hired someone to kill the President, the First Lady, and the House Speaker in case she herself gets killed. Speaking on behalf of the Vice President, Attorney Michael Powa on Friday, May 9, says that Vice President Duterte filed a counter-affidavit against the NBI complaint. However, Powa refuses to divulge its contents.
We don't want to preempt and out of due respect na rin para po ma-appreciate ng walang mga outside influence ng mga prosecutors.
Powa reiterates Vice President Duterte's previous statement that she would face accusations thrown against her.
Consistent lang naman po ang ating Vice President. Parati naman po niya sinasabi noon na haharapin naman talaga niya sa mga tamang venue, no, yung mga binabatong mga accusations laban sa kanya, which ginawa niya today, hinarap mo.
Meanwhile, the DOJ assures that the process on the case will follow the normal course of law and that the rule of law will prevail regardless of who the respondent may be. Malacanang shrugs off the impeachment complaint attempt against President Bongbong Marcos by the allies of his predecessor, former President Rodrigo Duterte. Former Duterte Youth Party List Representative Marie Cardema and her husband, former National Youth Commission Chairperson Ronald Cardema on Thursday, May 8, attempted to file an impeachment complaint against President Marcos. The Cardemas went to the office of the House Secretary General on Thursday afternoon, but they were told that only House Secretary General Reginald Velasco could receive the complaint. The petitioner cited how the president supposedly allowed the transfer of former President Duterte to the International Criminal Court as the basis for the impeachment complaint. In a briefing on Friday, May 9, Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro says that it is their right to file a complaint. However, Castro adds that the impeachment complaint is baseless. According to Castro, the Marcos administration is only fulfilling its mandate.
Ang Pangulo at ang administrasyon ay gumaganap lamang ng kanilang katungkulan at ang batas ay pinapairal, pati na po ang kanilang commitment sa Interpol. Kung mayroon mang sariling interes patungkol dito, na naisin pa ba nila na hindi sundin ang batas, hindi ipagpatuloy ang commitment o talikuran ng commitment sa Interpol para sa mga taong inaakusahan ng crimes against humanity.
Duterte was arrested at Ninoy Aquino International Airport on March 11 and was transferred on the same day to the International Criminal Court over a crimes against humanity complaint allegedly committed during his drug war. The Department of Budget and Management says it approved the across-the-board 2,000 pesos honoraria hike for teachers and poll workers for the 2025 midterm elections. Department of Budget and Management Chief Amena Pangandaman says the new honoraria rates for electoral board chairperson will be 12,000 pesos from 10,000 pesos. The poll clerk and third member will now get 11,000 pesos from the previous 9,000 pesos, while support staff will now have 8,000 pesos. The Department of Budget and Management notes that the 2025 General Appropriations Act earmarks 7.4 billion pesos for poll worker compensation. Citing the Commission on Elections data, the Department of Budget and Management says the total number of poll workers for the national and local elections stood at more than 700,000. Pandaman then urges Comelec to ensure that teachers and poll workers will get their compensation as quickly as possible. The Commission on Elections is reminding the voters that undervoting for the May 12 ballots is allowed and will not invalidate their ballots. In an advisory on Friday, May 9, the Comelec debunks claims circulating on social media that it's wiser not to leave blanks in the ballot as a dirty tricks group will find a way to fill up the spaces. According to the Comelec, voters should not be scared because they are the ones who will feed their ballots in the automated counting machine. The Comelec says that the voters can review their votes through the ballot image in the automated counting machine's screen and on the voter-verified paper audit. However, the Comelec earlier advised that overvoting will have their vote in a certain position invalid. Voters can only vote up to 12 senatorial candidates and only one for party-list groups, mayoral, vice-mayoral, gubernatorial, vice-gubernatorial, and congressional seats. The poll body warns that spreading false information on the elections is considered an election offense under Section 261 of the Omnibus Election Code. Former Senator Ping Lacson is reminding the Philippine National Police to remain professional and apolitical while ensuring peace and order. In a radio interview, Laxon, a former PNP chief himself, says that police personnel can be friends with candidates, but their priority is to maintain peace and order while staying away from partisan politics. Laxon is urging members of the police force to not take sides during elections. He's also urging leaders of the PNP to keep an eye on their members to make sure that they don't engage in partisan politics. Meanwhile, Laxon appeals to all candidates in the midterm polls to not get the policeman in trouble. According to Laxon, it is the policemen who will be held accountable if there is any evidence that they took part in partisan activities. PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Jean Fajardo previously said that the police will be on full alert on May 12 elections.